this is Catching Exceptions, and today I'm going to introduce you to the Psychor Prince of Wales, Martin Davies. Alright, so thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you.
The way this works, I'm just going to ask you a few questions and try to get to know you a bit better.
Cool.
Alright, first question. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a town just outside Swansea in South Wales. I don't really have a lot to say about it that's interesting. Swansea was described as the graveyard of ambition, but I think that might be a bit harsh.
Sounds like a nice place.
It was a normal place to grow up, and I currently live in Cardiff with my fiance, and that's just about 50 miles away from where I started, so haven't travelled far.
All right. Second question. What was it that got you started in programming?
We always had computers in the house. I had a Sinclair Spectrum and a computer that you only had in the UK called a BBC Micro. Both of those you needed to be able to program some basic to kind of just make any use of it at all. So I used to copy 100-line programs out of a magazine and then spend hours just tearing my hair out about why it wouldn't work, because it didn't give you any decent error messages or anything like that. Yeah, so I used to enjoy that, but I didn't really think of programming as something like mere mortals could do. I thought you had to be like I thought you had to be like a math genius. I must have seen war games and seen him typing at 100 miles an hour, and
I love that movie.
So I didn't really think of it as a credible career. So forgot about that stuff. Always sort of messed around with tech and things like that. But I went to art college and studied art and philosophy, which I still maintain is useful and important, but didn't really result in any career opportunities. So I went straight from finishing that into a temp job. It was in a hospital in the IT department where they had a new management system for their patients, and I was going to be doing some basic UAT. So I was meant to be there for a month, and that got extended to 3 months and then a year, and I was gradually given more responsibilities, and eventually after 7 years or so I was sort of leading fairly technical dev projects. So they were probably giving me far more responsibility than I deserved, but I'm grateful that they gave me that opportunity, because I never would have had that career otherwise.
And now you're an MVP.
Now I'm MVP, yeah, so found my way into Psychor eventually.
All right, so the third question is, what are you doing now? Where do you work?
I work at Kagool. We're an agency in the UK. We specialise in Psychor. We only do Psychor, and that's kind of rare in the UK, I think. But it allows us to really specialise, and I wouldn't have it any other way now.
Yeah. All right, fourth question. What is it that keeps you interested in programming?
I suppose it's the creative process. So when I talked about the degree being important to me, even though I don't really use it in my day-to-day life, I don't really make the distinction between that creative process in artwork and in programming. I love solving problems, and when I get a programming problem, knowing that after spending several hours on it, I've ended up with as few lines of code as I can, and I've got the most elegant solution I can. I get a real kick out of that. So yeah, that's it. And especially with Psychor, which, given the nature of the framework being extensible, knowing that you've got certain entry points into it, and picking the right ones to get the right effect with the least amount of effort, that's what I really enjoy.
To pipeline or not to pipeline?
Always to pipeline.
All right. So the fifth point is not a question. This is your opportunity to give your exception message.
Okay. So as a Psychor dev, you're using site called Blogs every day to do your job, and you're reading Stack Overflow answers, and don't you think that it would be the least that you can do in return to just contribute one yourself every once in a while?
I'm totally guilty of that. But thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
So that was Catching Exceptions, and you just met Martin Davies, a technical consultant at Kagool. The next time you see me, we're going to be getting to know somebody else. Till then, hang loose.